Fortunate to have this many great traders sharing all of what they did. Like Zach just finished. That was terrific. I got a lot out of it. I hope that you get something to take home for yourself from what I'm going to share with you. My name is Michael Guess, and I am the president and CEO of DayTradeSafe.com. And today I'd like to show you how you can ride trend waves. We're going to get down to some elementals. We're not going to be quite as far in the weeds as Zach was. I mean, that was exotic stuff. But I want you to know that if you're going to master the basics of day trading, you're going to need something that gives you the precision you need, both visually and audibly, not just a sound, but actually talking to you in plain old English about what's going on with your trends, your congestion, and so forth. So I'm going to share with you, first of all, how things could work and what you could get out of that. All right. Hopefully you will get something that will scratch that itch. So that's me. I'm Michael Guess. And I again thank you all for being here. And here's what I hope that you will take away. I want you to know that trend detection is not in and of itself all there is. What a lot of people don't realize is that the strength of the trend is quite important, because when you have an awareness, a specific metric of how strong that trend is for the given market, you will be able to decide whether you want to get out in a hurry, maybe scalp, or maybe swing for the fences, and maybe scale out and ride it as far as it can go using whatever type of automation maybe you've got, maybe you don't, but you need strength of trend. And I'm going to share with you, I'm going to give it away today so that you will first know how you can detect trend. And secondly, what does this strength of trend mean? And of course, oh yes, secret chart settings for that strength of trend. Now I'm going to limit them to the indexes as a start, but I have found that truthfully, really guys and gals, it doesn't matter a whole bunch. I've tried it on Forex, stocks, futures, and commodities, and these settings seem to be fairly consistent, more than fairly. The main thing is, if you stick with me on this, you will see why I chose them. Now, what is UTCI? That's the Universal Trend and Congestion Indicator. You see, detecting trend isn't enough. I already told you that strength of trend is very important. What you also need is how to stay out of trouble. You don't want to be caught in quicksand. You do not want to be in congestion or something that's pending and could go into congestion. The only problem is people are really subjective about trend and congestion. I'm not saying all of you, but we all started out listening to that higher highs, higher lows, and I could get 6 traders to tell me when that trend really started. And that was an opinion. It's subjective. You do not want subjectivity in your trading, okay? And when it comes to being notified that you got a trend or that you are in or coming out of congestion, then you want to be notified more than one way, not just what's on your screen. You know, there's been so many times that I have stepped away from my monitor because I didn't have anything going on with any of the markets I was following. And I went in the kitchen and started fixing a sandwich, and I missed a very good trade. Wouldn't it be nice if your computer talked to you very loudly, if you want to crank up your speakers, and let you know every kind of trend condition or congestion condition there could be? Spoken alerts, yes, sir, and ma'am. So the role of trend indicators are supposed to identify the trends or changes of trend with real precision. Now, some of the original stuff that came out is actually still very serviceable. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So I'll share with you how I arrive at what I'm doing. But above all, stay away from that subjectivity. No higher highs and higher lows and all that jazz, okay? Stay away from congestion. This particular indicator is going to let you know if it's pending. So you can maybe, I don't think I'm going to get ready for this trade. It could be going into congestion and be stuck. Now, this indicator, UTCI, Universal Trend and Congestion Indicator, will work on any trending type of market, meaning it'll indicate you got a trend or not. And it works on a whole bunch of different kinds of bar types. I don't know that it'll work on every conceivable bar type, but I do know that, yeah, regular bars, candlesticks, Renko, things like that, tried it on them all. Okay. Now, and this last one, I started out saying the strength of the trend is what is going to dictate how you want to manage and exit your trade. That's pretty darn important, wouldn't you say? It'd be a very handy asset to have in your toolbox. So I know that trend detection is what most people focus on. Do we have a trend or not? I want to also emphasize you've got to be able to stay away from congestion because it's trouble. You got to be able to anticipate the possible end of a trend and the possible beginning of real congestion. And it's got to be really bulletproof. You want to be able to anticipate these things, both going into congestion or am I getting out of congestion, a legitimate breakout, not just poking a wick out of a candle out of the top or bottom of a little trading range of congestion. You need something that's rules-based so that you can depend on it. And this way you can anticipate what I call a breakout fake out, where you get a legitimate breakout from congestion. It doesn't go very far at all, and it turns right around and goes back into congestion. You need to know if that occurs, okay? And above all, you don't want to have to move your mouse around and wonder, should I take this step or that? Let it be automated. That is what you need if you're going to be a day trader. So with that all being said, yeah, I started out the same as pretty much all of us. I doubt any of us were born at the level we may be today. If you've been trading, I've been trading 30 years. So when I started out, I had no idea of how to detect trend accurately with or congestion with an indicator. I was using things like TradeStation and so forth back in the early days, but I was still trying to do that higher highs and higher lows. And you know what happened? I always seemed to jump the gun, and I got in when I thought there was something moving and it started to pop. And you've heard amateurs say that, oh, it's popping, let's get in. And you know what? I got in and I got stopped right out. And we've done it over and over and over again. And it cost me a lot of money, about 42 grand in my first 18 months. That was my learning curve. And it cost me a lot of confidence. So I said, I got a woodshed and figure out something. I ended up building a complete mechanical trading system, but that's not what I'm here to do today. I'm only taking a piece of it, kind of the beating heart, if you will. And that is the trend and congestion indicator, because you really need to know. So I built that. And that totally turned things around. Let me invite you to look at those three charts. It's the same market. just three different chart settings, three time frames. If you look at the big one on the left, you know what? All it is a higher setting chart that amounts to the equivalent of a zoom lens on a camcorder. It gives you a wide angle view of the market. So if you knew the trend on that biggest setting chart, you would have a sense, because of my settings are cycles based. And I learned all of my cycles from Walter Bressert. So if that name rings a bell, you know what I'm talking about. It will give you at least a half day and possibly a full day's possible trending potential. What's the middle chart? Well, first of all, it's a 3-to-1 ratio on each of those charts. And I'll tell you how I arrived at them in a few minutes. The middle one is your real dominant cycle. It's only good for about an hour, hour and a half, and so forth. But don't we all want to enter at the lowest possible risk? I call it surgical entry. So what are those settings? If you happen to be trading the indexes, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, stuff like that, frankly, I don't invite you to trade the ES. Why? Because the institutions are there with high frequency program algorithmic trading and they've wrecked it. So don't trade the ES. You can trade the others because they're too small for the institutions to play in. So long story short, what are the settings? A 9, a 3, and a 1. How did I get there? I'll try to pick this up because I'm kind of falling behind. Back when the close was at 3:15 CME Chicago time, even though they bumped it an extra 45 minutes to 4 o'clock, it didn't change it much. What I was doing was I was trying to find the next smaller setting, time frame that would divide into the number of minutes in the daytime session from 8:30 to the original 3:15. And as I said, it hasn't changed really appreciably. 405 minutes. So what's the next smaller one? 135. None of these are exactly the kind of drop-down settings you're going to see in your menu on your platform, right? So what's the next one down from 135? It's an 81. Any of those will divide into the next higher one as well as the 405. But let's keep that 3-to-1 ratio because I want that wide angle dominant and low risk surgical entry relationship, a 3-to-1. So what's 1/3 of 27? 9. 1/3 of that, 3. 1/3 of that, 1. So yes, you could enter on a 1-minute chart. And above all, avoid trading from a single chart. I mean, for decades, we've known that you can't get all the information you want from one chart. You need context. This will give you that because what it will do is prevent you from having that one-size-fits-all complex. You will then be able to determine the strength of the trend. And I'm going to show you how, because it is going to show you what the market is capable of giving as you zoom out and zoom in as needed. And that will then inform you as to how you want to manage or exit your trades. Do you want to button, get on base and scalp? Or swing for the fences and scale out and trail a stop? Here's how you do it. I'm going to give you a rhyme to remember. The 1 and the 3 need to agree. That means they need to trend up together or down together. And I'll show you how you would know it with my indicator. Or if you want to keep using what you got. But best is if all three agree. That's the 1, the 3, and the 9. So you see, if I've got a very weak trend, I would probably scalp. or do a scale out at a real easy to reach target with the possibility it might go. But if I got all three in trend agreement, man, I want to swing for the fences. I want to scale out at a pretty decent price that I know I can reach. I recommend if you were trading a 4 lot, let's say on one of the indexes, I would say set it at roughly $100. That's easy to reach. By that time, I also recommend that you build in a hedge, a trigger point that will cancel and replace your stop from wherever you had placed it. And I don't use fixed stops. I use something called logical stops or variable stops. It depends on the size of the bar. And it'll move that stop to where you entered, break even plus 1 tick of profit. And what does that do? It gives you a hedge so that if you didn't reach the target or you didn't get a fill, because I use limit orders for my fills, I don't like to give anything up. You don't want a potential winner to turn into a loser, right? So this is your hedge. And if you scale out, great. You've taken 2 of your 4 contracts off the table, half your position, and you will trail a stop. You can use whatever indicator you like. You can use, like Zach was pointing to, a parabolic. You could repurpose it as a trailing stop indicator. And I recommend very, very strongly as a platform. Now, some of you are at the low end of the learning curve and you're just learning, and maybe you're using Thinkorswim. Don't. I know the guy personally who developed it, and he said it was an options trading platform, and they grafted on a little bit of day trading, and then he sold it to TD Ameritrade. You need a professional platform if you're going to play with the big boys. So I personally recommend the platform that's had 10 years in a row first place, and that's NinjaTrader. I don't get paid to say it. It's just because it works for me. So let's keep going. You can import this indicator real easy, just like any indicator, into NinjaTrader, and it's yours for life. You don't have to pay anything extra. I've got support desk for help if you need any help. And I want you to put it on all of your charts, because one of the cool features is if you've got charts or markets that are hidden, remember, it speaks to you in English. It'll let you know if something's going on, and then you can pull that chart up and make it on top. Got it? What you want is the more charts you can get to trend together, the better. You are going to get a lot more follow through. This is so elementary. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I want you to just reinforce some of those basics, because if you've got a strong trend, you're going to want to scale out. Weak one, you're going to want to scalp. And if you want to know all of these details boiled down into an ebook form, you can always go to my website, Day Trade Safe. That's this right here, .com. And opt in, it's yours for free. Okay? And if you don't want anything else from us, you can always unsubscribe. Now, here are screenshots of the indicator. We're going real basic now. We've taken all the price bars off, and this is a subgraph underneath where the price action is. Green for an uptrend, pretty easy to understand. Salmon pink for a downtrend, real easy to understand. But because I use 2 separate methods that if either one of them detects it, I'm good to go. I don't care which one, neither one's better than the other. One of them is the good old classic moving average crossover, and I have modified it, let's say. And that is C for crossover, and that's why this little narrow band of color is crimson. So that way you know, oh my goodness, I've had a change of trend. Obviously, it's the opposite of this. It's going to be this. This is not when the trend started. This is. What is this? It's letting you know that you're in transition. It's giving you a hint about what's coming. So if in that subgraph you've got green, it's an uptrend. Salmon pink, it's a downtrend. If there's no color at all, you don't have a trend, do you? Either the trend isn't viable for some reason, or you are in some kind of real legitimate congestion. Now, you can get a change of trend one of two ways. I showed you one of them, the moving average crossover with the crimson band. That's the point it changed. The other one is a simple break and follow through. It's rules-based. It's a two-step process of support or resistance on the chart that you're on. So whatever the setting of that chart is, if you've got pivots or swings marked off like a Ninja Trader, it's easy to see. You can do it, and I'll show it to you. If it breaks and follows through, well, that's the swings method. And so S for swings, S for slate gray. Real easy. Now, the moving average crossover, as I said, it's a customized version. The slate gray, it's a break of support or resistance. Again, I've made it very rules-based, and everything is automated. You don't have to worry about, oh, do I need to mark something or click or do this or that? No, you don't. Once in a blue moon, you might get both methods indicating a change of trend on the same bar, in which case it'll be a black narrow band of color. Is that better? Not necessarily. Just they both occurred. All right. So spoken alerts are very, very important. As I said, I got caught in the kitchen and it cost me a lot of money because I didn't know that something was happening. I missed a great trade. What if instead of a sound, which is what I used to have, it would talk to you in plain English? You'll be able to hear it. You'll hear the alerts, even on hidden charts. It'll identify what's the market that it's associated with, what time frame, what chart setting, and what is this trend condition? Is it a change of trend? Or is it going into congestion? Is it breaking out of congestion? Is it in the process? Is it confirmed? There's a whole array of conditions that you will be informed of so that you are in complete awareness of what's happening. So here's a little screenshot of a big downtrend. Now, it wasn't an uptrend based on this up until right about there. Okay. And then it began the downtrend. You can see. Now, I realize a lot of you are probably going to focus on this rectangle and think, that's the congestion. No, it's not. The purpose of this is a visual aid for the trading range that it's in. See this diamond above the tallest bar, and notice how many of these are inside bars? It does have some tolerance, about how much can be outside and how many bars it needs to go sideways. But once it does that, it is going to plot one of these. But more importantly, down here, I've been referring down here in this subgraph as the actual trend indicator. When there is no color, you have no trend. This is the moment when you lost the trend right there. And then notice it started to get a breakout, and you would have heard this bar as it began to break out. You'd have heard a spoken alert. And when it confirmed right there, you would have heard it say that it was a confirmed breakout, and you will be able to see the color at the same time. Well, it didn't last very long, apparently, maybe 2 bars, and it went back into congestion, back out. So it was kind of choppy in this area, but eventually it did break out for real and keep going. If it keeps going after specific conditions are met, guess what happens? This rectangle will lose the color. It'll disappear. You see the other one before, a prior one right there? I call it a phantom box. The automation in this algorithm is looking for congestion all the time. It first found it here with this. But when this other condition was occurring, it replaced it, and it said to you, new congestion. You'll be able to hear it. But if this goes for a certain distance, we don't need to worry about coming back into a possible state of congestion in that trading range, in which case you'll hear an audible alert saying congestion is canceled and you're good to go. Okay, I'm gonna have to pick up the pace. Here we go. I know this is a little busy. Right here, we went into a downtrend. See the black? And then, of course, it turned salmon pink afterwards. This was the bar that occurred on, and it's a downtrend right there. However, right here, it lost the trend. Now you're saying, well, how come that box or rectangle went so far back? It's because it's looking backwards and forwards in time for a reference or anchor bar, the one with the diamond on the top. That's the tallest one that could keep as many inside bars as possible within its range. So you might have had the beginning of congestion back here, but we're clueless. It occurred legally there. That's when you lost your congestion. You would have heard it. And then you had a breakout. It was confirmed. It's green. Then you had a fake out. You lost the color. And then it broke out and it's salmon peak again, and you're off to the races. Pretty straightforward. Okay? And this is a zoomed in shot of how a breakout would work. You have down below, I've cut it off, that subgraph that would have shown the blank area for when you were in congestion, okay? But right here, the edge of the box, every time a new bar forms, it moves forward to keep up with that bar. But if you start to get a bar that is closing out of the box, either below or above, then you're going to hear a warning. It'll say congestion is pending. And then if it trades below it, you're confirmed. That lets you have a lot of confidence that it's pretty likely to keep going. But if it didn't, you'd know, because if it went right back in, you'd hear it and you would see it, right? So here we go again. Uptrend green. These are old prior congestion periods, 2 boxes, but the real congestion started there and ended here with this bar, which confirmed the breakout. So when you see the charts, it'll be a whole lot easier to understand. So if it's okay with you, unless somebody really wants me to pause, I am going to skip ahead and say, this right here is a record of every condition of trend or lack of trend, congestion or whatever. Like, see, it says congestion, breakout, congestion, breakout, 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 and so on. It can also say change in trend. It's showing you the instrument. It's showing you when it happened and so forth and so on. The reason for it is, what if you thought you heard it and you weren't real sure? You can come back and check. This is your log. All right. So with that being said, I think you're going to want to actually see this occur. Now, I don't know if I can do this smoothly. I'm still learning Zoom, so bear with me. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and then I'm going to try to share my charts. So here we go. Now I'm going to have to move some things out of the way. It's just the nature. And apparently this guy really wants to be in the way. Okay. I'm chalking this up to Zoom, okay? Now, what you are looking at is not just your trend indicator that I am trying to teach you. You're actually looking at a full-blown trade safe, trade dominator system, which I'm not here to promote in any way. But because the trend indicator, see the color, lack of color, 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 narrow band, previous change of trend, and so forth, and the boxes here and there, all of that, that's the beating heart of how it works. Now, what I want you to observe, and I'm going to have to drag this down just a wee bit. I'm going to maximize just this one chart instead of trying to, and you'll hear whatever's going on with the other charts you can't see. But if I move this over, just so you know, some of this other stuff that's on here, yeah, those are moving averages, everybody knows. And you can see the phantom boxes from prior congestion when it was in a lot of chop. And it's currently in congestion. You can see it stopped being in a brief uptrend right there. And it's staying no color. But all these other lines, these horizontal lines, you don't need to pay attention to them for the purpose of this presentation because what they are, that's part of my system. It automatically plots support and resistance levels from those higher setting charts that I described earlier, the 405, 135, and so on. And they all have certain degrees of stopping power so that you can anticipate whether or not you really want to be taking a trade. Because let's face it, if you try to get into a trade and you got a brick wall ahead of you, your odds are not as good as if there was no support or resistance of significance that you were trading into. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm going to do, unless things are not going to cooperate with me, is I'm going to turn this replay back on. Now, this bar is currently still inside that trading range of here, and there is that reference or anchor bar. It's recently gone back into a new congestion. There's the old phantom box. The current one is color. So let's see if this works. It's working. Great. Now, if I speed this,
RTY, 1 minute, new congestion.
okay, it was identifying the congestion that we had. Now, when this bar finishes, and I'm going to have to speed it up so we don't wait here all afternoon or evening.
RTY, 1 minute, breakout.
Did you hear that? It's talking to you. It's telling you the market. It's telling you the time frame, and it's telling you the condition. It's beginning a breakout. So let's continue. I'm going to speed it back up again.
RTY, 1 minute, breakout confirm. RTY, 3 minute, new congestion.
Okay, I had to pause there because I was on such fast forward, 30 times normal speed, that the talking part of it can't keep up when you're trying to fast forward. That's not the way you trade. But this bar did confirm, and I know you heard it, and you can see the color. This confirms the breakout. You are officially in a new downtrend. Easy peasy. So let's keep going. Now you may hear other alerts from other charts in the background. I'm on about 8 times normal speed. I'll speed it up.
RTY, 9-minute, breakout confirmed.
Okay, a 9-minute chart just confirmed a breakout. That's nice to know if I wanted to shift away.
RTY, 3-minute, RTY, 3-minute, breakout confirmed.
Okay, I'll pause for a second and let you know. Because I was on 10 times normal speed, it didn't have a pause there. It would have paused and said that it was beginning the breakout. And then when it confirmed a few seconds later, you would have heard the confirmation. Because I was on fast forward, of course, it jammed it all together. All right. And feel free to ask questions all along, and I'm happy to answer them. And in case you don't know how to do it, look at the bottom. I'm going to I was looking in the chat window. If you want to ask a question and you're new to Zoom, as I have been for a while, you look at the bottom of your screen where Zoom is, and you will see one of the icons says chat. If you click on it, it'll pop up. Now it'll take up some space at the right. You can resize it and move it to another monitor if you have one and so on, but I don't have time to go into all of that. So let me keep going and see if I can speed it up 15 times. Okay.
RTY, 1-minute, congestion canceled.
Oh, that's good to know. Let's pause. It said congestion was canceled. Remember when I said when a certain condition was met, that it wasn't worried about going back into prior congestion? And you know why things were stalled here. Look at that support and resistance stuff. If I zoom in, you've got a floor trader pivot, a 9-minute resistance level, and an overnight low. So with that being said, we were in congestion. What indicator signal are the dotted blue lines? That I use as part of my full mechanical system. It is not part of the indicator I'm talking about. It is used in my mechanical indicator, Ryan, as a trailing stop. It's automated to do that, okay? But I'm not here to demo my system. So with that being said, let's see and listen for a little bit more. Glad I could help, you bet. And see what else occurs. Must speed it up 15 times. I'd like to get a change of trend or new.
RTY, 3-minute, breakout fake. RTY, 3-minute, breakout confirmed.
Okay, you heard that in the background. So you had
RTY, 3-minute, breakout.
okay, it must have had, I'm way too fast for it to keep up. I'm so sorry. But with that being said, I'm wondering, let me pause for a sec. Everybody knows that retracements and pullbacks are as old as dirt. Only problem is you don't have a reliable method of saying, is that the deepest bar in the pullback? Well, my system does. This would have been your entry or setup bar, and you would have put a stop limit order here and entered, and you would have already hit your $100 target by that time. And you would have used this to trail your stop. So I said I wasn't going to demo. I'm not going to actually do a demo on my system, but that's to answer nagging questions some of you might have. So let's keep going. And then I got to go back to wrapping up the presentation, because I'm wondering if we're going to go into congestion here. You see it starting to go sideways a little bit. I'm going to slow it down slightly.
RTY, 1-minute, new congestion.
Sure enough. You heard it. Now, remember, it's looking backwards and forwards from what it thinks is the tallest bar in this pattern, which is the one with the diamond on top. And it finds it automatically using an algorithm. Now, going forward, if we don't get a breakout, you will see no more color. It'll be blank because you're in congestion. So let's go forward. Notice it's blank down here. Now the box keeps up to let you know what you got to do to get a breakout above here or below there.
RTY, 1 minute, new congestion.
Oh, did you hear that? You just were witnessing that this algorithm is always searching for congestion, even if it finds congestion to replace the old one that it's left behind with a phantom box. Notice this one's even more compact, a little easier to get a breakout. That's nice. Okay, so it does it for you. It's always hunting for real congestion. You don't have to guess. Now let's finish this off.
RTY, 1 minute, breakout confirmed.
Oh, we do have a confirmed breakout. It started here when we were still in congestion, and it confirmed there by trading above that breakout bar. And notice it's green. We have an uptrend. Let's see if it follows through or if it goes back in. If it goes back in, it's a breakout fake out. I'll speed it up a little bit. Kind of going sideways again. Oh, finally. I'll speed it up a little more.
RTY, 1 minute, congestion can. RTY,
All
1
right.
minute, new congestion.
All right, two things just happened back to back, and then we're going to leave the charts. It fulfilled its condition, and the color disappeared from that trading range visual aid, the box, as I just call it. And of course, we've been in an uptrend until this very moment when I paused. It's now in congestion, brand new. So this is doing it for you. So I'm going to stop the sharing and we're going to go back to what I was actually showing you earlier. If I can get rid of this data box here, I can go back to this, maximize it. You should be able to see it. Here we go. Okay, so that's what we just got through doing. So folks, I want you to know that I like to over deliver. You're not just going to be taking a state-of-the-art trend indicator that's totally automatic, finds new trends, finds new congestion, does it for you, is absolutely dependable. It also can be used as if it were a system of its own, a mini system, a tiny system. It's not a full-blown mechanical system, and that's why I'm giving you two free bonuses. One of them is a mini trend detection system so that when it detects a trend, it gives you a rules-based approach for entering a trade. Now, it's up to you to decide what you want to do to make that as optimized and reliable as you can possibly make it. I'm offering it to you as just a bonus. The other is, hey, you're in congestion. A lot of times, you know, if you're trading congesting markets like crude oil and gold, they don't trend very well at all. And they typically break out and fake out. But once in a while, they will break out and keep going. If you had a rules-based approach for a breakout and you could get into a trade with this brand new trend that you're getting with a very small risk that could help you. So I'm tossing those in as bonuses. And you can see how it all works on our sales page. I'm going to give you a link to it. I'm going to tell you where to find it. And you can see how those actually could work. Does anybody have a final question before I wrap things up here? I'm a little ahead, finally. Any final questions? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Then here is what I want you to know. I have been a professional day trader for about 30 years, more than 30. And for more than 20 years, TradeSafe, as it was founded, and it's really now called Day Trade Safe, I've graduated over 4,000 students. So one of the things that I knew was I have to inspire confidence. And I want you to know that you're going to get that confidence. You will, even though this is just an indicator, and most people say, why do you want to offer us a payment plan? This thing must cost a fortune. No, I do it because a lot of people don't even like to pay a small amount for just a simple indicator, although this isn't a very simple indicator. There is the link that you could use if you want to. Now I'm going to hit one other one, and then I'm not sure if I can get, there you go. That I just put in the chat box, that last one. If you are interested in this indicator, go to daytradesafe.com/indicator. How simple could it be? And it'll take you to our offer page. And what you will see are all of the things it can do. It will give you the bonuses. It'll tell you, it'll show you some video and playback. And then you can go forward and find out about a payment plan. Oh boy, you're going to like this. A lot of people are not aware that PayPal has one of these same as cash interest-free loans. They used to call it Bill Me Later. I don't know what they call it now. But the point is, I put it on everything I offer because I just hate paying interest of any kind. Even if you're one of those people who are like me, you pay off your cards every month. Not everybody can. But for something like this, it's so simple. All you will need to do, and I'll try to take you to the actual page in a few moments and show you how easy it is to find. And what happens is you'll click on a button. It'll take you to PayPal, and no, you don't need to join them. And it doesn't matter whether you love them or hate them. All they're going to do is a soft credit check. It will not damage your credit rating. And it takes about 2 minutes. If they love you, you're in. You got 6 full months to pay them back. And if you do it within 6 months, you don't pay a penny of interest. Yes, Ralph. Okay, Ralph raised his hand, but I don't see anything typed, Ralph. Well, okay. I'm going to click on view and see what he's doing here. No, I don't see it. Okay, so I'm going to continue because I am finally running out of time. I have to come back to this and make it active again for it to move. And I say, if you don't pay them back, the piddling amount it's going to cost you, you can still just use your credit card and pay whatever the interest rate is. So that's how it works. So what are we asking for? what I consider to be a superior trend and congestion detecting indicator, the UTCI, Universal Trend and Congestion Indicator, is just 197 bucks. That's well in line with a lot of indicators that are out there. What you will find is that this thing, simple as it might sound and seem, is going to keep you out of trouble. Now, what I'm going to try to do if I'm able to, and let me see, yeah. And David, by the way, is showing those links. So if you want to just do it yourselves and click on those links, I know that means you're leaving the Zoom session and what I'm finishing up with, but I'm going to show it to you myself if I'm able to. So I'm going to share again, except this time I'm going to the browser. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. There it is. This right here is what you would see to get a full hours plus replay. It is going to go into much more detail than we had time for here. And when you're finished, if you want to, click down here to get more information. And it lists all of the things that it can do. Now, when it comes to a guarantee, I have learned the hard way that some people basically they're tire kickers. I know that there's big value in saying no questions asked and all that, but the truth of the matter is I want you to use it. If it isn't performing exactly as it is designed, in other words, if it fails to do what I have built into it, absolutely, I will refund your money. Don't you think that's fair? Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, so with that being said, these are the bonuses. This is the breakout. And of course, it's got a video. I'm not going to play the video. We're going to wrap it up here in just a couple of 3 minutes. There's another video that goes into the trend following so that you would see how it could work. And these bonuses in and of themselves are definitely worth money. This one's worth at least 300 bucks, another 300 for that one. So, and by the way, these are some of the people I have appeared on, as well as, and I'm privileged to be here with David. Thank you again, David. But if you click this button, this is what you will be taken to. This is the actual order page. Well, yeah, the order page. But what you're going to want to do in order to make things happen is scroll down, okay, past the testimonial stuff and the guarantee. This is where you have the choices. You can use your card and just go straight away and it's yours. Okay, great. You can use PayPal and choose however you want to pay because they give you choices. This is what I recommend you use. Click on Pay Later. It will take you to PayPal, like the button above, but the big difference is what it will do is that it will try to let you see if you pass their soft credit check. If you do, then bingo, you got 6 months. And as long as you just pay them off in 6 months, no interest. It's as simple as can be. So that's basically it. I would like to go back to this page and just finish it off there and say thank you very, very, very much. Actually, I really ought to, since I'm still learning Zoom. Where is my share button? I'm stopping share. Yeah. You guys are so patient with me because I don't know this platform very well, but there is what I'm looking for. And this is where I was. Okay, and then I'm going to finish this right here. Too many operations. Where is my cursor? Okay. Bingo. Finally. So, has anybody got a question before I exit and invite the next great speaker? Does anybody have any questions about this particular indicator? All right, then I would love to say thanks again to David Cosmetter. You should too. He's making this available to us at no cost, and we're getting a lot of valuable information. So David, thank you very much.